Hi! Right here, I have Apple's latest, maybe not greatest, MacBook. The MacBook Neo. This is the silver version with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, no Touch ID. It's the absolute base model, cheapest ever brand new MacBook Apple ever has produced. And we're gonna unbox it today. I'm very excited to see how it performs, how it compares to my trusty M1 MacBook Air, which apparently the chip inside the A18 Pro benchmarks similarly to in performance. Everyone's been talking about the blush, the citrus, and the indigo. Those are very, very nice colors, especially that citrus. But I personally picked the silver because of just how clean it looks. And the silver color plus the white keyboard is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of the late 2000s, early 2010s polycarbonate white MacBooks. Enough yapping, let's get to unboxing. This mat. Oh, sheesh. Hello. It says hello on the little paper right here. The Apple logo here is very interesting, actually. It's not the stainless steel Apple logo that I'm used to. It looks like it's like kind of an engraved aluminum. So there we have the speakers. It's really cool how it looks like a portless MacBook on this side because the rest of the ports are right here. Got your headphone jack, got your Type-C ports. Only one of these is USB 3.0, the other is USB 2.0. Let's take a look at the accessories. So we have a little information packet. MacBook Neo. And then we have braided Type-C to Type-C cable, as well as a tiny little power brick. I'm pretty sure this is the 20-watt power brick that they ship with the iPads. Yeah, it's 20 watts. Tiny little charger. So that is what you get with the MacBook Neo. You're getting the laptop, charging brick, cable. Again, this charger is very nice and small. Oh, the trackpad. The trackpad actually surprisingly feels really, really nice. I thought it'd be kind of cheap feeling, like, because it's not the normal haptic trackpad you've come to expect from the MacBook Airs and MacBook Pros, because they don't have a haptic motor in this trackpad. It's a physical clicking trackpad, but it actually feels really good. I'm a big fan of this trackpad. Let's get a good look at those white keys. That is the screen. Nice and shiny. It's never gonna look like that again. Alright, I'm gonna go set this MacBook up, log in, download some apps and stuff, test it out, and then I'll be back to talk about the MacBook some more. See you in a bit. Alright, first impressions time for this bad boy, MacBook Neo. I've been using it for a couple hours now. Overall, it's very nice. It does not feel like a cheap laptop at all. It feels just as nice as my MacBook Air M1. It's got this aluminum unibody build. The keyboard feels great. Other than the backlight, I'm pretty sure it's the same exact keyboard as you get on the other MacBooks. The trackpad is surprisingly good, actually. I was skeptical of the trackpad not being a haptic trackpad like on the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro, but it's very comfortable to use. It doesn't feel like a worse version of the trackpads we already have on the current MacBooks. It just feels a little different, but it's a good different. The screen is nice and modern. Specs-wise, of course, it's not as good as the higher-end MacBook models, but to my eyes, it's pretty much the same. It's still very, very sharp. The colors are nice and vibrant, and yeah, it's a very nice screen. It looks very modern with these rounded corners, especially compared to my MacBook Air M1. They're very nice, especially considering the price. But the big deal here is performance. Now, you're getting full macOS. This is not some watered down version of macOS, made specifically for the cheaper version of the MacBook. This is the full-on macOS experience you get on any other MacBook. And I have to say, it definitely runs very, very well. Some people were like, oh, it's running an iPhone chip, it's not gonna be that powerful. But back in 2020, before Apple released Apple Silicon, they tested macOS on a variant of the A12 chip, which was an iPhone chip. So it's not really an out of this world idea to put an iPhone chip in a MacBook. Either way, it's Apple Silicon, and Apple got it running on the A18 Pro on the same chip that you get in the iPhone 16 Pro, and it runs pretty good. I was able to edit the first half of the video that you're watching right now on this MacBook, no problem. I have it pulled up right here actually. Yeah, all that is partially edited, and after I film this segment, I'm going to finish editing this entire video and upload it so you guys can watch it as soon as possible. It can run Chrome tabs as well. It can run Google Chrome. I've been using Google Chrome. One of the first things I did when I opened Safari was install Google Chrome actually. I haven't tried it out with that many tabs yet, but so far it's been chilling. While I was setting it up, I kind of put the computer through its paces, right? It was downloading apps. It was downloading Cyberpunk in the background as well. Speaking of Cyberpunk, it doesn't run too well. I'm sure I could get it looking better if I just tweaked the settings and played around with the settings a little bit. At the moment, it is playable, but it doesn't look too fun to play. But that's fine. You're not expecting to run a AAA game like Cyberpunk on this little budget laptop. I just tried it for fun, and the fact that I can even run it is kind of neat. Now, I have noticed that this gets warmer faster than my M1 MacBook Air. I downloaded an app called Hot, and it checks the CPU temperature, and I've noticed it reaching temps of over 100 degrees Celsius more often than when I'm normally using my MacBook Air. Although, to be fair, that might just be because I'm downloading a bunch of stuff in the background, and that's taxing for the 8 gigs of RAM. It does feel a bit warmer than when I'm normally running my MacBook Air. And it does use quite a bit of swap memory. It did use about a gig or two of swap memory when I was using it at times. No big deal, but just wanted to mention it because of the 8 gigs of RAM limitation. But yeah, overall, the performance is incredible. It's still overkill for the vast majority of people, honestly. Most people aren't creating content. Most people are just using this for web browsing, document editing, and this computer is capable of doing all that and more. Now, let's talk about battery life real quick. So it is at 15% right now at 10:23 p.m. And when I got this, it was at like 80%. Let me pull up the battery stats right now. Almost 75% of the battery was used up, and that got me around 2.5 hours of screen time. That does sound pretty bad, but keep in mind, I was running Cyberpunk at one point, I was video editing at one point, Final Cut Pro. It was also doing a bunch of downloading and a bunch of setup in the background, so we can't really take this as a very accurate battery test. In a few days, I'm going to do a day in the life battery test with the MacBook Neo. By then, it should be more stable, right? It should be done a lot of the setup and stuff it does in the background when you first get the machine. Overall, I'm very excited to use this thing. Like I mentioned, I will be testing this with a day in the life video, and I will also be comparing it to the MacBook Air M1, right? If you're considering this laptop versus a used MacBook Air M1, should you pick one over the other? And also be comparing it to an iPad with a keyboard and a pencil. Should you get an iPad with a keyboard and pencil over the MacBook Neo, or is the MacBook Neo still the better buy? But yeah, I got a lot of plans for this laptop. Silver color is really gorgeous. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching till the end. Be awesome and stay techie. Bye. Hello, Neo. Look at that citrus color. Hi. Right here. And the color is very reminiscent of the early. And the color is very reminiscent of the 2000. And the color is very reminiscent. It doesn't feel like a worse version of the trackpad on the MacBook Air. I didn't even realize Apple had this overlay for when you're using a controller, but it's actually recognizing this as a Nintendo Pro controller.